Hi guys, it's Jane. I have some yarns that I need to wind up. So, some of those are just those little tails that I had. And some of them are skeins that just kind of came undone. This one is one that kind of fell apart. So I'm going to get started with it when I find the end. Wherever the end is. It's not the end. Here's the end. Don't you love this kind of thing? It has been rainy the past couple of days. I don't really like the rain. It kind of annoys me. But what are you going to do? It's not like I get a choice in the matter, right? Okay. Oh, how did I do that? First, you got to run it through the guide first. Oh boy, it has been one of those days. What can I say? And Miss Izzy has been stealing things and running off with them. She's having a blast. Typical cat, you know. She's decided she likes certain things and she wants it and she's going to take it. She's going to find a way to get it. That's my little Izzy. That's just the way she is. That's the way she likes to roll. So, you know, not a whole lot I can do about that. Just kind of smile, grin, and go on about it. You know, let her carry on the way she wants to carry on and pick up after her. You know, it's like having a 2-year-old. Really is. You're constantly picking up after them and telling them no and taking things away from them that you didn't realize that they really don't need to have, that, you know, they're messing with. And that's just a lot of fun. Hang on, folks. Alright, had to go take something away from Miss Izzy. She was getting into something she shouldn't have been in. And that's typical for her. She, like I said, she is a little nosy cat. She's constantly getting into things and constantly having to take it away from her and fight with her about it. And she's just a mess. The bamboo, I'm doing okay with it.
No color.
Let me turn that off. Sorry, folks, I forgot to turn off the phone. The bamboo, for the most part, I am taking Spectrum, pouring it down into the, you know, after I cut off the stalks part, so that I can kill the actual weed part and the rhizomes. And so I had gone up to Lowe's to get some more of the Spectrum. And there was someone there, because they had a good deal on some some great soil, you know. It was like 42-pound bags for like $15. So I picked up a couple of those because, like I said, I pick up dirt here and there when I need to plant things. And church, the women were given a lot of flowers for Mother's Day. And of course, there was some extra, and we were allowed to take what we wanted. So I took a couple more. Figured I'll plant them and have a couple of pots in the garage, and thought I would plant them so that at least it would look halfway decent, right? At least that's my goal, my hope. And so anyway, when I was up there, the fellow was asking me, he said, "It's such a pretty day. What are you doing today?" I said, "Well, I'm cutting bamboo." And I said, "Well, you know, Japanese knotwood." He said, "Yeah, Japanese bamboo." He said, "Believe it or not, I had a woman up here that was wanting bamboo. She was looking for bamboo." I said, What does she want the bamboo for?" And he said, "Well, she wanted the one that grows 30 feet, not the one that grows 10. She wanted it so she could form a border fence with it." But I said, "I hope you kind of taught her about the rhizomes, how they grow and it spreads, and if she has neighbors, they're not going to be happy with her because those rhizomes are going to be growing in their yard and they're going to be having bamboo and maybe they don't want bamboo." He said, "Yeah, I tried to give her a little education." He said, "I don't know how far it went. She was determined she was going to get some bamboo." I said, "Well, you know, you can't always get people to understand what they're doing. You have to let them do what they're going to do." He said, "Yeah, but good grief." He said, "Sometimes you think, why don't people research what they're wanting to put in their yard, either as ground cover or, you know, like that, to use it as a barrier." He said if she'd have bothered to do some research, she would have found that she has to do a lot of work around the yard so the rhizomes don't get through. And even then, you can't guarantee that they're not going to grow in your neighbor's yard or, you know, down the street. And he said, "Yeah." He said, "You wouldn't believe the kind of people that we have coming through here. They constantly are doing that kind of stuff." He said he tries to educate people. He said, but it doesn't do a whole lot of good. Yeah. So we had a couple of laughs about that. He was helping me load the dirt into the back of my car. I can get it out of the car because I can dump it, but picking it up, that's another story. Used to, 40 pounds was nothing for me. Nowadays, I don't have that kind of strength anymore. So, had a echocardiogram yesterday, and, well, Monday. Today's Wednesday. Monday, and everything was fairly normal with the exception of my left ventricle. The valve is dilated, which basically means I'm at higher risk for atrial fib. So now I get to go see a cardiologist. And I always find that interesting. You know, dealing with all these doctors back and forth. And I'm like, you know, really preferred it when I only had one doctor, instead of having a doctor for this, doctor for that. But that's life, right? And I'm getting into those golden years, so that's part of it. Yep, I'm just thrilled to death with that. As my sons used to say, yippee doodles. Life is just full of joy sometimes. Oh. We have our ceremony for our young kids today with the Awana. I'm sort of looking forward to that, but not, because we're expected to go up on stage with the kids. I don't like walking up those stairs, getting up there. But it'll be okay. They only have railings at the very edge of the stage. And the way that it is, it's like arena, comes around like this. So that's going to be quite fun. And then we get to hand out their awards to them. And of course, we're having a pizza party first. That was something the kids wanted, was the pizza party. So they are getting their pizza party. It is coming through I believe the church is paying for that. Not real sure, volunteers, something. I do know that they do lots of times have a good deal with the local pizza places. And I'm sure that they're probably going to just go to Domino's. That's normally who they go to. You know, and get some pizzas for the kids and drinks and have a little fun time before, sitting with the kids, talking with them. And I'm assuming the parents are invited to the pizza party, although the paper didn't say that we were given. So I can't see why the parents wouldn't be invited, since we're wanting them to stay for the award ceremony afterwards. These are those small pieces that I had left over from redoing the hats. So I'm just making them into what I call those crazy cakes. Doing the magic knot. I know there's another way that you can do it, but for the life of me, every time I try to do it that way, it just doesn't work for me. I have got the gnomes for those boys pretty much made. I still have to make the gloves and then sew on their letters for their team. Both the boys wanted them to have the P for the Phillies. So I need to crochet a P so that I can get that up there. And then they'll be ready to hand off to the boys. I did decide just to crochet a sort of, well, the battery died, so like a polygon is what I was saying. And then drawing it up with some stitches so it looks like a baseball glove. And then I am sewing a baseball button into it. These were some buttons that, I think I found the Joann's. And it used to be that you could get those cute little buttons for different seasons at Michael's. But my Michael's no longer carries them. So, had to go to Joann's. And of course, I could have got a baseball glove button there at Joann's if I'd thought about it when I was there, but I wasn't thinking about baseball gloves at the time. So that's one of those that you just kind of laugh about, In hindsight, should have thought about getting it. I am working, like I said, I'm still working on that blanket and my shirt. Those are the things that I want to definitely get off my hook. And of course, I still need to finish Crystal's shawl. And I have been seeing a lot of those shawls out there. And man, they are gorgeous. I think Shell had, she had put out hers of Shell Crochet. She did a little video this week on hers, and it came out stunning. And she used a fingering weight cotton for hers. So it just came out really looking nice. I have all these yarns in a shoebox here that I had left over. So I'm having to dig them out one by one. And that's been a lot of fun, digging those out. And that's my phone. Sorry about that. It also rings on my computer. And unfortunately, most time, if it doesn't say someone's name, you know what it is, it's spam. Or telemarketers, or whatever they call themselves these days. It's never fun answering those phones. And it annoys me that they are allowed to get a hold of your cell phone number. I really wish the government would allow you to opt out of having your phone listed for sale. But our federal government and usually local and state, they all sell your information. And they absolutely get away with it. And I find that frustrating. I don't think they should be allowed to sell our information like that. I'll make this one a little ball. A little cake. Little cake, little cake. Well, that didn't come out right. Take that over this way. But yeah, it just frustrates me that they are allowed to sell our information. And, they think we should be happy and just perfectly fine with it. Well, I'm not. I don't like all these phone calls from these people I don't know, or God knows what, And then, of course, there's the guy that always calls about your windows. But I've seen a couple of people who've posted videos on TikTok about how they deal with it. They put it under a metal strainer, and then they proceed to put the phone under it. Then they proceed to bang on it with some metal spoons, forks, knives, whatever. I do find that funny. Makes me giggle. Because quite honestly, I think they deserve it. And I know that there are lots of times they're just people who signed up for a job and had no idea what the job entails. And, but I know my son did that for a while when he was looking for work in between after he'd got clean and sober. And he did that, and he also did the tax thing. And of course, my sister, she still does the tax thing all the time. She loves doing that. And, it's a great, as she put it, it's a great side hustle for a 70-year-old. So she does that, charges a certain amount, and people are happy with their work, and they come back to her year after year. So, and of course, this year with the election year, people are starting to get crazy again. I just find it interesting, the amount of misinformation that our so-called media puts out there, left and right, but nobody will tell you the truth. And then when you find out the truth, they hush it all up because they don't want you to know it. And I think that's probably because they're in somebody's side pocket. I'm sure that our Congress people, pay them off too sometimes. So, yeah. And that is sad. Now, I do have a lot of people that ask me why I would keep these little strings, tie them up into a cake. I'll tell you why. First of all, that's a lot of yarn to get out there and to be put out there into our environment, and I would like to use it up as much as possible. And I like using it to make the Afghans. They come out amazing. Generally, a lot of times, I'll hold a base color with those skeins, and then just do what I call a scrap gam, which is, my half double crochet, probably 75 to 85 stitches with a big N or P hook, holding 2 strands together, and go to town, and come out amazing. They're nice, thick, warm. I've had a lot of people, because they're so colorful, tell me that their kids always gravitate to those crazy blankets. So, there's something to be said for using up all those pieces. And I have had people say, well, you can put them out for the birds to build nests. Nah, it's really not a good idea. Really isn't. Maybe cotton, but I wouldn't put acrylic out there. And these are all acrylic scraps, so acrylic is what I normally work with most of the time for charity, simply because it's easy to wash, easy to maintain, easy to care for. and still holds up after years, softens up nicely. So, yeah, that's a bit of a thing that I enjoy doing, is using the acrylic. I caught up with Terry, Terry that was making the bag that was on, I think, Lovecraft. She said it was Jackie somebody's bag. Finished up that crochet bag, and I'm like, that was gorgeous with that, I want to say it was a 5-sided granny square, and then you made 10 more granny squares, and then you would sew it together. It came out really nice. And I had thought about making one of those, but never got to it. So, now I'm thinking maybe I will get into one of those. I don't have a lot of green in this one. I think I'll add some green. I have a skein over here that's kind of a bit of a mess and needs to be tidied up, so I was going to cake it up. So maybe I'll take some of that green and add to this one after I get this blue in here. And always keep my little snippets and use those for putting in the amigurumi. Does come out nice. And of course it's a way to get it used up. Alright, let's see if I can find the end here. My one young man, his beard with the blue and the green came out kind of cute. For the young man that wanted his to be tie-dyed, what I chose to do was to use, I have some leftover Crayola. I think it's Crayola. And so I cut the beard fringe with that, and it came out really cute too. Very nice. So that's going to be really nice to see. And I think that'll be about it for the green. What I've been doing is undoing these Tunisian samples that I was making and adding those in. I really don't have a need for the smaller samples to hang on to them. So I thought I would just undo them and use those. And that has been quite interesting. I have a neighbor down the street that for the longest time I couldn't figure out how come there was so much noise Thursday nights till about 10:30. Well, apparently he and his buddies, I don't know if they have a band that maybe they play at church or around different places. But that's what the noise has been. And I kind of laughed because he said, well, what do you think so far? I said, well, from my end of the street, it really doesn't sound that wonderful. But that's, I've got woods in between me and them, so maybe that's why it doesn't sound decent. But he laughed about that. He said, maybe I should have you come up when we're having our little jam session so you can actually hear us play a little bit better. As he put it, the acoustics just aren't right in the woods. And they aren't. They are not right at all in the woods, or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing this today. I have also been going through boxes, sort some things out. There's a lot of things that I'm just decided I shouldn't have moved them in the first place, so they are going out, going to the goodest will, or the Salvating Army, either one, so that they can put them out there for someone who thinks they are a treasure. And I'm sure they were a treasure at one time to someone. But they're no longer a treasure to me, so they need to leave. I've also been cataloging my husband's research, and that is a hassle to begin with. I did have a pastor at the church ask me if maybe I could use some of the college students to help with that. And I said yes and no. I'm almost all the way through with it. I have gotten most of it done. The biggest thing is getting it put up onto ResearchGate so that it's available for those who want it. And students really can't help with that. A lot of that is just scanning it in as a PDF file. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm at, what I've been doing. I think I have chewed your ear off long enough, so I am going to let you go while I finish this up. But in the meantime, everyone, remember, be a little kinder to yourself. Get out there and see this world if you can, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.